Good evening and welcome back to Moonlight Tales. Find a comfortable place, take a slow breath, and let your mind settle. Tonight's story is ready to guide you gently into a peaceful night. So when you're ready, let's begin. Under the pale glow of the silver moon, the quiet town of Merrowwind settled into the soft hush of the night. Houses rested like sleeping giants, their windows reflecting the silent shimmer of starlight. At the far edge of the town, where cobblestone paths faded into grass, a girl named Alara stepped outside her small wooden cottage, wrapping a thin cloak around her shoulders as the cool air brushed her cheeks. Alara had always been a quiet soul, gentle, thoughtful, and endlessly curious. While others spent their nights dreaming behind closed doors, she found comfort in wandering through the stillness. Tonight felt different. The breeze carried a faint scent of lavender and pine, and a soft hum seemed to vibrate through the air, as if the night itself was whispering her name. She stepped forward, her boots pressing lightly into the dew-kissed earth. The world felt wider, calmer, as if every blade of grass held a secret. Fireflies drifted lazily above the fields, blinking in slow rhythms, guiding her toward the forest that bordered Merrowwind. Alara didn't know why she felt drawn there tonight, only that something gentle and mysterious waited for her beneath the moonlight. As she walked, the distant sound of rustling leaves echoed softly, almost musical. The trees ahead rose like tall guardians, their branches swaying in slow motion. When she reached the forest's edge, she hesitated for just a moment. The air shifted, warmer now, softer, as if welcoming her. With a steady breath, she stepped into the woods. A path revealed itself beneath her feet, glowing faintly with silvery dust. It wasn't there the day before. Alara followed it, each step lighting up small sparks that faded behind her. The forest was peaceful but not empty. There was a presence here, ancient and calm, like something watching with kindness. As she moved deeper, she heard a low, comforting sound, like a heartbeat blended with a distant sigh. She paused, placing her hand on a nearby tree trunk. It was warm, pulsing gently beneath her palm, as if alive in a way she'd never felt before. Alara. The whisper drifted through the branches, not frightening but soft and melodic. She swallowed gently, trying to steady her breathing. "Who's there?" The leaves rustled and tiny motes of blue light floated around her, circling her like small stars. The lights gathered ahead, forming a shimmering path deeper into the forest. Though her heart fluttered, she felt no fear, only curiosity and a strange sense of belonging. She followed the lights until the trees opened into a wide clearing. A pool of water sat in the center, perfectly still, reflecting the moon like a giant silver coin. Mist hovered just above its surface, drifting in slow waves. Alara approached the pool, kneeling at the edge. The water glowed faintly, and as she leaned closer, she noticed something unusual. The reflection staring back wasn't just hers. In the water, behind her shoulder, shimmered the faint outline of a figure made of light. She gasped and turned around, but there was no one. When she looked back at the water, the figure was still there, watching her with gentle, star-filled eyes. "Alara," the voice whispered again, this time coming from the pool itself. The water rippled outward in soft circles. Why are you calling me?" she whispered. The figure's outline brightened and the voice became clearer, calm, soothing, like wind passing through a crystal chime. "The moon has chosen you. A journey begins tonight. A path few can walk, but one your heart has long awaited." Elara's chest tightened, not with fear but with a strange, warm excitement. "What journey?" she asked softly. The reflection raised an arm of shimmering light, pointing toward the forest behind her. "A journey beneath the silver sky, where dreams breathe and forgotten truths awaken." The mist grew brighter. The air hummed with quiet magic. "Elara," the voice continued, "will you walk the moonlit road?" She looked at the glowing pool, the blue lights circling her, the silver moon shining above like a watching guardian. And with a slow, steady breath, she whispered, "Yes." The forest exhaled. The lights rose higher, and the moonlit road opened. The forest welcomed Elara with a quiet warmth as she walked deeper along the winding path. Every step she took felt softer than the last, as if the earth itself wanted her to rest. The air was cool, carrying a gentle scent of pine and fresh rain. She wrapped her cloak a little tighter, not out of fear, but because the night around her felt almost too peaceful, too still. A faint silver glow appeared ahead, flickering like a candle behind a curtain. Elara slowed her pace. The glow pulsed gently, almost breathing with the rhythm of the night. She followed it, drawn by a calm curiosity she couldn't ignore. As she approached, the trees opened into a small clearing lit entirely by moonlight. At the center was a pool of still water, perfectly round, reflecting the sky above like a glass window into another world. The stars on its surface shimmered with a strange clarity, far brighter than the ones in the sky. It looked like the pool held its own version of the heavens, quiet, untouched, and waiting. Elara knelt beside it. The grass was cool beneath her hands, soft like velvet. She leaned forward slightly, watching her reflection ripple slowly across the water. But her reflection wasn't alone. A faint outline shimmered beside her, soft, glowing, shifting like mist trying to take form. She blinked, unsure if she was dreaming. The shape grew more defined, becoming the silhouette of a small creature with long ears and bright, gentle eyes. It looked at her with a calm expression, one filled with an emotion she couldn't quite name. Kindness, curiosity, something in between. Elara spoke softly, afraid to disturb the quiet peace of the clearing. "Hello there. Are you real?" The creature tilted its head, the glow around it pulsing lightly like a heartbeat. It didn't speak, yet Elara felt a soft warmth bloom in her chest, a quiet reassurance that she was safe. She didn't need words to understand it. Somehow the silence between them carried everything. The creature stepped closer, its paws light on the grass, barely leaving a trace. When it reached her, it gently touched its forehead to her hand. A calm wave washed through her body. Her thoughts, once tangled, now felt smooth and slow like drifting clouds. The pool beside them began to glow brighter, the reflection shifting into symbols, soft lines of light that slowly circled the water's surface. They moved together, forming what looked like a path, stretching deep into the reflection as if inviting her to follow. Alara looked at the creature. Is this where I'm supposed to go? The creature stepped back, nodding once with a slow, serene motion. The wind stirred lightly through the clearing, carrying the whisper of distant leaves and something else. A faint melody almost impossible to hear, but comforting in a way she couldn't explain. She took a steady breath. "All right, I'll trust you." Alara reached out and placed her fingertips on the surface of the pool. Instead of cold water, she felt warmth, gentle, glowing warmth, spreading across her skin. The pool rippled, the symbols shifting and expanding until they formed a doorway of soft silver light. The creature stood beside her, as if promising she wouldn't enter alone. With one quiet step forward, Alara moved through the shining reflection. The world around her dissolved into soft colors, flowing like watercolor in slow motion. There was no weight, no sound, no fear, only a drifting sensation as if she were floating between dreams. Then slowly her feet touched solid ground again. The light faded. She opened her eyes. Alara now stood at the entrance of a moonlit bridge made of smooth stone, stretching over a vast, calm river. Fireflies drifted lazily around her, glowing in shades of gold and pale blue. The air was warm, comforting, carrying the scent of blooming night flowers. Somewhere far ahead she heard a slow, peaceful chime. The creature appeared beside her again, its glow softer now, as if the journey had brought it closer to her world. Alara took a step onto the bridge, her heart calm, her mind drifting gently into the rhythm of this new place. A new path lay ahead, quiet, safe, and waiting. The moon climbed higher above the silent forest, casting a pale glow over the winding path where Alara continued her quiet journey. The air felt softer now, as if the night itself was welcoming her deeper into its hidden world. She walked slowly, her steps sinking into the cool moss beneath her feet. Every sound around her had become calmer, gentle, rhythmic, almost like a lullaby carried through the trees. Fireflies drifted lazily in the air, swaying like tiny lanterns guiding her forward. A faint breeze brushed against the leaves above, creating a hush that reminded Alara of distant whispers. Not frightening, but comforting, like voices saying you're on the right path. She paused for a moment, closed her eyes, and let the peaceful night settle in her chest. Ahead, the forest opened into a narrow valley filled with shimmering mist. The fog moved slowly across the ground, swirling around the stones and roots as if it were enchanted. Alara stepped inside, feeling the cool air wrap around her. It wasn't cold. It felt like a gentle hand resting on her shoulder. In the center of the valley stood an old wooden sign. The paint had faded and vines curled around its edges, but she could still read a single word. Sanctum. The moment she whispered it, a warm light appeared far down the path, soft, golden, flickering like a candle left to guide wanderers. Alara felt a quiet pull inside her chest. Not fear, something closer to hope. something that told her she wasn't alone out here. She followed the glow. As she walked, she noticed shapes forming within the fog. Not creatures, memories, gentle ones. Her childhood home. The scent of cinnamon and warm bread. Her mother brushing her hair on quiet nights. The sound of laughter drifting through open windows. The forest wasn't trying to show her dreams. It was helping her remember peace. With every step, the weight she had carried for years grew lighter. The golden light grew stronger, revealing a wooden archway covered in moonlit vines. Tiny white flowers glowed softly between the leaves, pulsing like stars. Beyond the arch, the path curved toward a cozy clearing bathed in warm light. Elara stepped through slowly, almost afraid the moment would disappear if she moved too quickly. But the clearing waited for her. A small wooden cabin stood at its center, smoke rising gently from the chimney. The windows glowed with soft firelight, and the scent of lavender drifted from the garden beside the door. A quiet warmth spread through Elara's chest, steady and soothing. She approached the cabin, feeling the night wrap around her like a blanket. The wooden steps creaked softly beneath her feet, and she lifted her hand to knock. But before she could, the door opened on its own. Warm golden light spilled out, touching her face like a sunrise. She stepped inside, and the world changed. Lila followed the soft glow winding between the ancient trees, her steps light, as though the forest itself held her gently above the earth. Bun Bun remained tucked in her arms, his ears twitching at every distant rustle. The night no longer felt quiet. Something was moving through it, something peaceful as if the air carried memories. The path led her toward a tall arch of woven branches bent by time. Moss shimmered between the twists of wood, glowing a pale silver that brightened with each step closer. Lila paused, feeling a flutter of warmth in her chest. It wasn't fear, but recognition, like she had walked through this place in a dream long before tonight. Beyond the arch was a new part of the forest, one she hadn't seen on any map. Leaves drifted from high above, falling so slowly they looked suspended in time. Fireflies glided around her in circles, illuminating the path in gentle rings of gold. Every ring pulsed softly, as if guiding her deeper into the unknown. She whispered, "Is someone leading us, Bun Bun?" The little rabbit lifted his head, his nose wiggling toward the glowing shapes ahead as though answering yes. A calm breeze moved through the branches, warm and comforting, carrying with it a distant melody. It sounded faint at first, just a few soft notes, but then it grew clearer, like a lullaby sung by voices as old as the forest. The melody wrapped around her, easing every thought, steadying her breathing. She found herself stepping forward without hesitation. Soon a clearing opened before her. At its center stood a stone circle covered in carved symbols. Spirals, crescent moons, and tiny lines that resembled falling stars. Lila knelt beside one of the stones and traced the carvings gently. The moment her fingers touched the cold surface, the symbols glowed a dim blue, spreading light across the circle like ripples on water. Bun Bun hopped from her arms and moved to the very center. When he sat, the entire circle brightened, revealing a swirling pool of silver light beneath the ground, almost like liquid starlight. Lila gasped softly. This must be the place the voice told us about. The forest quieted. Even the wind held its breath. The silver pool shimmered again, once, twice. Then a shape began to rise from it. Not a creature, not a person, but a memory. A memory made of light, forming into a tall, gentle figure wrapped in soft moonlit robes. No face, no features, just a calm presence glowing faintly at the edges. Lila stepped back, but the figure raised a hand not to frighten her, but as if offering reassurance. A voice echoed, not from the figure, not from the air, but from within her own thoughts. "Welcome, little dreamer. You have come far." Lila swallowed, her heart pounding gently but not painfully. Are you the guardian of the moonlit forest?" The figure's light shifted like a nod. "Your journey began long before you stepped onto the river path. The forest remembers every dream you ever held. And tonight it calls you to finish one of them." Lila's eyes softened. "Finish a dream?" The forest hummed around her, leaves brushing against each other in a quiet chorus. The figure stepped aside, revealing the silver pool now reflecting a distant scene. One Lila knew instantly. A small cottage with a blue roof. A window glowing warmly. A girl sitting beside it, staring at the sky, lonely, hopeful, waiting. It was her. A younger version of herself. She gasped. Bun Bun pressed against her leg as if sensing her trembling breath. The guardian spoke again. "To rest peacefully, you must follow the thread of your own story, even to the moments you have forgotten." Lila felt her chest tighten, not with fear but with the weight of something important. Something she wasn't sure she was ready to face. Yet the clearing felt safe, and the guardian's presence held no danger. She knelt beside the silver pool, her fingers hovering above it. "Show me," she whispered. The pool brightened, swirling faster as the memory deepened, pulling her gently into the past she had long left behind. Bun Bun hopped forward, staying by her side. Together they leaned closer as the world around them shifted once more. The night had grown softer, almost sleepy itself, as Mira and Elian followed the final stretch of the moonlit path. The air around them felt lighter now, as if every step loosened one more thread of the worries they had carried when their journey began. Overhead, the moon drifted slowly between thin clouds, glowing like a lantern guiding travelers home. The silver stream beside them murmured in a peaceful rhythm. Its voice was gentle, no longer whispering warnings or riddles, only calm, soothing sound. Mira felt her heartbeat matching that quiet flow, steady and slow. Elian walked beside her in silence, his presence warm and reassuring. They didn't need to talk. The calm spoke for both of them. As they reached a small clearing, they found the moonbloom tree waiting, its branches shimmering with pale blue petals, glowing softly in the darkness. The tree looked alive in a delicate, dreaming way, as if breathing with the night. The moment Mira stepped closer, the petals drifted downward like drifting feathers, gathering around her feet. A warm glow rose from the ground beneath the tree. Mira closed her eyes. She didn't need to ask what to do. She already knew. She placed her hand on the trunk. The world around her brightened, not with sharp light, but with a quiet warmth that spread through her chest, her shoulders, her mind. It was like releasing a breath she had held for far too long. The tree responded with a soft pulse, and the petals began to swirl upward, spiraling into the sky. Elian watched in stillness. He had seen the moonbloom choose many travelers, but each time the moment felt new, gentle, hopeful, and sacred. Mira wasn't just being healed. She was letting go. Memories she had tucked away for years rose within her. Heavy nights, restless thoughts, moments where her world felt too loud, too fast, too uncertain. But now, wrapped in the moon's glow, those memories became lighter. Not gone, just softened, sculpted. The moonbloom petals floated higher, forming a faint trail of light that stretched toward the horizon. Mira followed it with her eyes, feeling her breath steady. When she finally opened her hand, the glow faded slowly, leaving only the peaceful quiet of the forest. Elian smiled, gentle and proud. "You've done it," he whispered. "The moonbloom's gift isn't to change your life. It's to remind you that you are capable of changing it yourself." Mira let the words settle in her chest. For the first time in a long while, she believed them. A soft breeze passed between them, nudging their hair and clothes, guiding them toward the rising dawn. The sky was turning silver at the edges, brushing hints of blue and gold across the clouds. Birds began their first notes of morning. Their journey back felt easier. The forest no longer shifted around them. The path was clear and steady. By the time they reached the edge of the woods, the first rays of sunlight were breaking across the distant hills. Mira stopped and looked over her shoulder one last time. The forest glowed faintly as if bowing in farewell. Elian spoke softly. "When the nights feel heavy again, remember this place. You don't have to return physically. The calm you found here lives with you now." Mira nodded, touched by the safe, warm stillness of that truth. Together they stepped forward into the new morning. Their shadows stretched long behind them, carried gently by the soft breeze. And far within the forest, the moonbloom tree shimmered softly, holding the quiet promise of peace for any traveler who needed it. The night had ended, and Mira walked into the dawn lighter than she could ever remember. Thank you for spending this night with Moonlight Tales. May your sleep be deep, your dreams be kind, and your mind be at peace. Good night and sweet dreams.